Welcome back. This is Danberg SC. We are doing our fourth installment of my weekly updates for my journey to Shodan. I've got a low-calorie beer today because I am losing weight. I've lost 2 kilograms since last week. You can't see it in my face yet, but I am slimming down, so hopefully by the end of this year we can do that. Anyway, cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming out this evening. I don't know how long this one's going to be. The last one was like 30 minutes, but I talked a lot. So, this week in shogi, let's break it down what happened. So, if we look at the schedule, here is the schedule that we talked about. I was doing all this week. Here we go. I have to adjust this one soon. Basically, last week on Sunday, I did not go to the school. It was just my day off. I had a lesson in the morning. I'll talk about the lessons here in a minute. That's actually a good point. Monday, I did my regular stuff. Tuesday, I had my lesson at night. Wednesday, Thursday, I had my peace drop lesson. And then Saturday, I had my tournament. So let's talk about lessons really quick. So right now, it's Monday. So my lessons shifted from Tuesday, Sunday to Saturday, Monday are my lessons now. So Saturday morning and Sunday morning. I'll do a big thing next month about what my schedule, what my training looks like. But basically, some things are shifting around. But it is right now 10:30 p.m. 10:30 p.m. and I just finished my lesson. It is Monday evening on the 25th of October when I'm recording this. Me and my teacher have been working on the Yagura, which is my kind of bread and butter tactic if I'm doing an attack against someone that is also Ibishi. So let me kind of take you guys through that really quick. Bam. So this is what me and my teacher have been working on basically. I've got some of the... I am Sente, our first player in this example. So this is... how basically you start the Yagura. They're going to try to threaten down to take this piece, so you block with the silver here. So now that they can't do that, the reason that there's 2 main lines to the Yagura. If you're playing first player and you want to do Yagura, you have to start off by doing 7-6 pawn. This is just how you open up for Yagura. If your opponent wants to also play Yagura, usually they'll go 8-4 pawn to push back. And then your response is 6-8 silver. After this, there's 2 main theories, push this pawn or push this pawn. Both of them, if you, let's say, for example, you push this pawn forward. If I don't do anything, if I do something like this instead, this is actually really bad. I really can't do much about it, and you're in trouble. So you can't really do that. You have to bring this forward. Oh, sorry. You have to bring this forward, so that way, if they bring that up, they can't. You've got that extra piece defending it. That's the first main line, the basic line. The other line is this. Again, if you do something stupid, you just hang your bishop for free, which is not right. So you have to block it, which puts this piece here. After that, your opponent is probably going to start bringing their silver up. The reason that you don't push this at this point or anything like that is, one, it doesn't really mean much if you were to push this now instead. I'm still basically defended. If by the way, if you do this, I have to do this. Let's say, for example, in a different position, I do something like this. You can just kind of go, just throw this away, because you get kind of a really good position out of this. You give them your Hisha for their Kaku. You trade your Rook for their Bishop, which is kind of bad for them, but they're definitely going to also take one of these pieces. And there's not a lot of places you can really drop. That's a terrible place. There's not a lot of really places that you can like drop this so easily. I guess you could do that. Your next move is to kind of come down and promote or something like that, or take this. But they just kind of absorb here. You come out here, and then they just start eating up all these pieces. So it's already they've got a great piece advantage against you. So this is just kind of how the Yagura works. Anyway, it's not important. We've been working on this. So next line is, all right, here we go. I start pushing my pieces forward. I make them basically have the same structure over here, defending this. Then I bring up my silver, push the center. This isn't really important. It's just how you start the Yagura. This is how my teacher's been playing recently. This is how we've been playing recently. There's a lot of different theory behind these moves. I'm not going to get into that, but this is one of my favorite things that's been going on recently. In this position, this is I play what's called the Waki system, which is a form of the Yagura where you kind of spar off the bishops against each other, and you take like this. At this point, what I usually try to do is, let's say he does like this, go here. You can do, this is called the Morishita system, when you just put it here to open up this. I like to do a more aggressive Waki system, which is when you bring the kaku up here. So there's this gambit that you pull this forward, and then usually they block here and you drop back. You threaten down here so they can't lift their silver forward. I usually like to do this if they're being very aggressive at this point. If they try to push up here, I'll probably push. If they try to bring their silver forward early or something like that, what you could do is you could do this gambit. If they don't take this piece, if they just keep moving here, this is actually kind of an issue where you can just kind of kill this piece outright very easily. This piece is just now dead. You can't really do anything with it. You just get a silver for free. So you kind of have to, same thing if they take it with the gold. Take it with the gold, you just do the same thing. It's dead, regardless of which one they don't do this. So if they come to this spot, usually they take this pawn, or they usually will take this pawn. If you do that, you can get here. At this point, they really can't do this. There's one tactic against it. You take this, come back out here, and then I can still, now we're spared off. It's not an issue. But if it's in this position, like our actual game, if he's here, I have to do this. If I do this now, he can take. If I take, now he has this move, which is actually really painful, because if I absorb, he takes, which is a really issue. And if I go like this, you push. And I mean, I can't really do anything. I can't take this. That's, it's defended, so that's an issue. I can't really bring here because I just lose this piece. I mean, this is still an issue. This is still an issue I'm having. So like, you have to kind of go here, you promote, take in. This is just a mess. It's just a mess if you do it. So I saw this in the game, this idea. So I just sparred off against the opponent. At this point, usually you have to bring this up, because if you take like this, you want to be able to either, you can take with the silver or take with the pawn. There's two different lines in it. There's a lot of different lines. I usually take with the pawn, regardless. But yeah, usually at this point, you guys put your kings away, so they're nice, safe in this castle, and then you stand off in this position. And this is where it gets really interesting. I usually will wait for them to pull forward. If they pull forward, then I'll take. So I'll do something like this. If they're going to try to mirror moves with me, usually what I'll do is I'll take now, which they have to either take or block. So usually they'll take, and then I'll drop like here. I'm threatening to promote down here, potentially threaten this gold. Taking this is a really big issue over here. They don't also have time to now drop theirs. Like, what they're trying to do is drop theirs here. But I beat them kind of to the punch. There's a lot of actual different places you could drop it. You could drop it here. You could drop it here. You could drop it here. You can even drop it here. There's 4 different spots that you could drop it in this position, and they can obviously do the same to you depending on who takes it. This is a really kind of complicated system that me and my teacher are working on. It's really fun, though. I really love this system. So my lessons have been, basically, we've been playing. He analyzes some of my games that I've been playing online. We always look over it, see tactics and things that I've been doing. But then we usually play 2 or 3 games of something like at least one game of. Recently, it's been Ibisha versus Ibisha, which is just standing rook versus standing rook. So we basically don't move this piece. We're attacking down this line on both of us. It's very fun. It's very fun, but there's a lot of theory behind it, and we're working on it. I'm not reading any books. I'm just doing it with him. So that's what my lessons are basically looking like recently this week and stuff like that. So let me get back to my other chat. Let me close some of this extra crap that we don't need, and let me take a drink. So I'm talking too much. So, besides that, I had a tournament last weekend on Sunday. So let me bring that up again. So on Sunday, I had a tournament here, or not Sunday. I'm sorry, it was Saturday. Sunday is the Peace Drop tournament. Saturday was the rating tournament. I went to the rating tournament on Saturday. Last time I talked, I think I went 2-2 on the rating tournament. I had 2 wins and 2 losses. The 2 losses were against. No. I think last time I played 3 games, 1-2, and I lost one against my rival. He's a fifth class right now, and I'm a 8th class, so he's a couple classes above me. But we play close games, and I'm about to promote out of my class. And my teacher even said I'm probably going to be at least 6th class before the end of the year if I continue playing the way I'm playing at these tournaments on the weekends. So we'll just keep on working at it. But regardless, I played 4 games this last weekend. I played 2 against other 8th classes, so I'm in 8th class right now. Let me put this in. I have to do this. We're going to do this right now. I shouldn't be doing it right now, but we're going to do it right now. I'm in 8th class. So Danberg, HQ, bam. There. Slam it in there so we can actually talk about it. So I'm a 8th class right now. HQ is how you read. This is read as Q. So 8 in Japanese is Hachi Q. So I'm a HQ. My opponent is 5 class or Gokyu. Is my rival. But I played 2 other HQ, so 2 other 8th class, and then I played 2 Gokyu or 5 class in my games. And the players I played of other 8th classes, the people that are my rank, I beat them very well. Last time I hung my rook and I still won. This week I didn't hang my rook and I beat them very handedly. I was actually able to one of them was playing an interesting system of let me see if I can pull this back up. One of the games I had against someone that was my league, they were doing a game that looks like I'll just do this. That's not right. They're doing a game that looks something like this. Where was this king? It's definitely over here. Versus what I always do. Yeah, so it wasn't exactly like this, but I was doing my standard Ibisha stuff while he was doing his 4th rank rook stuff. So I played one game like this, and I ended up taking, by the end of the game, oh my god, this is terrible. I'm not showing you anything. I'm glad I looked over. Okay, good. So my god, sorry about that. That was terrible. So I was doing my stuff. He was doing his. I was doing my Ibisha, my standing rook. He was doing his 4th rank rook. This is actually when I play my dad. I play my dad a lot. He has this structure a lot, but he doesn't castle this hard. He's a very aggressive player. So if you're watching and you're gonna play my dad, watch out. He does a sick version of this attack over here a lot. And but no, actually his is a little bit different. His is he puts this gold over on this side to protect against this pawn over here, because this is a very soft pawn. So he does a bit of a more solid, but his castle isn't this strong over here. He kind of castles very lightly and just goes ham on the center of the board. Anyway, we were playing this. I ended up taking his rook for free, was my first game. And then the second game I played, my opponent did what's called a nifu, where you put two pawns in the same row. He didn't realize that he had a pawn here, and he tried to block my path of my Hisha here by putting another pawn here. And he hit the button. I was just like, "Hey man, you nifu'd here." So technically, I won the game at that point, but I wanted to play the game out, so I allowed him. I was like, "Look, I'm going to consider this game, regardless of what happens after this, I'm going to consider this a win for me, but I would like to continue playing this game out if that's okay with you." So he said, yeah. So we kind of took the move back, and then I considered it a win for myself. So we told the teachers, like, I'm winning. I won. But this was on move, like, probably 30 is when that happened, around move 30. So I was like, let's just continue playing because it's just now getting interesting. And I ended up winning against that as well, even though we kind of backtracked. I ended up winning the bishop or the kaku off of him for free. So it was really good. So those are my games against the people that are in my league. So the people that are in my league, I either take their Hisha for free or I take the kaku for free when I'm playing them, because I can just outmaneuver it. I can lock this piece into a position where they can't take it, and either take it for free or take it for, like, in exchange of a silver or a pawn or a kyosha or a kema or something like that. So I'm doing really well against them. The games I played against my rival and the other person that are 5th class were a little bit different. They were games that I really can't even explain. It was more along the lines of I would play against them and we would get to the point where we both got through the early game, no problem. They were able to set up their attack. I was able to set up my attack. They didn't fall for any of the tricks that I play setting up my attack. I didn't fall for any of the tricks that they play setting up for their attack. We got into the mid game. So one of the advantages I have against my rival is my rival plays so quickly. My rival plays so fast. They don't really think about the move. Now, the reason is because they are very good at endgame. Their early game isn't bad. Their end game is really good. Their end game is much better than mine. And their mid game, they don't know where to think. They don't know where to use their time properly to think. Where, because I talk to my teacher all the time, my teacher tells me is that basically before you make your first trade, before you push a piece that's going to, like, attack another piece. So before you make any move, like if you're playing a game, before I make a move like this, which is going to attack a piece, and they're forced to either take this trade here or take this trade here, because if they do something stupid and then I'm allowed to promote into here, well, this is just dead, right? Like, you can't really run here. If you run here, if you do this, I just take it. If you try to run here, I just go here. Most you could do is try to take that from me. But now, I mean, you've traded a silver for the bishop. So that's what I mean. But, like, before you make your first attacking move, before you make a move that's like this, like, okay, this is the attack that I want to do. This is the attack that I want to do. How am I going to use the silver? Do I want to bring the silver up this way? Do I want to bring the silver up this way? Do I want to push this pawn first? Do I want to bring the silver up here and then try to bring the kema forward to attack down here, bring this over? Like, I have to think about what the attack I want to do. So before I make a move that's going to commit a reaction from my opponent, this move is what we consider a reaction commitment, where I make a move and they have to react to it. That's something. So what I used to do is I would play a move like this, and then they would take like this, and I would think, okay, well, now what do I do? I wanted to do that attack, but now what do I want to do? And that was the wrong way to do it. Before I do that move, I should think, if I do this, if they take like here, am I going to be okay? If they take like here, am I going to be okay? If they make a different move, am I going to be okay? If they try to bring this over, am I going to be okay? I calculate all these lines, and if everything's fine, then I'll make the move, and I'll be like, oh, actually, I don't like that yet. Let me do this first. And then if they do this, I can always, try to step here to take this. Or, I mean, hell, if they did that, I just straight up just take this. They move here, then I can step back. I can do anyway. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but that's how I use my mid game. That's how I use my time. So my opponent, my rival, he doesn't know where to think about that in the mid game. So he just hammers out moves. He just hammers out moves really, really quick. And it came down to where we played in the rating games. We play a 10-minute game with 30-second Byo-Yomi. I've talked about that before. Again, 10 minutes of time runs. You just have 10 minutes. They have 10 minutes. When you hit your clock starts. When you hit your button, it gives it to them. Their clock starts. When your 10 minutes is up, you have what's called byoyomi. We do 10-minute, 30-second byoyomi. So 30 seconds means I have to make a move within 30 seconds. If you don't make a move within 30 seconds, you're out. If you make a move within 30 seconds, you get 30 seconds back. You get a full 30 seconds to make your next move again. So it's not like 30 seconds you have to finish the game. It's like every move you have to make only within 30 seconds. But if you don't use all the 30 seconds, that time doesn't accumulate. You use it or lose it. So best it's to wait until you've got like 5 seconds left and then play your hand and then use as much of that 30 seconds as you can. Is what I do on it. So we were playing. It was a really good game. I don't remember exactly what his strategy was, but I played my standard EB show or my standing rook that I always do, where I don't move my rook. I just fight down that line. And it came down to we were both checking. We were both getting into like a checkmate war, where I would start checking him, and if I could find a checkmate, I win. I got to a point in my game where I was like, okay, I have to make every move within 30 seconds. This is a really complicated endgame. I don't see a checkmate, but I'm going to start making moves because my king, I destroyed his castle. He destroyed my castle. I was attacking him. He was attacking me. I was able to make the first check. And when I made the first check, I was like, okay, this is my time. I have a lot of pieces in my hand because I destroyed his castle and took all those pieces, but he has a lot of pieces in his hand, and because he destroyed my castle, he can either use all of his pieces that he took from my castle and to rebuild his castle, but that means that if I don't get the checkmate, he doesn't have an attack to come back on me anymore. So you don't want to like use all the pieces that you got from your opponent on their checkmate unless you have to. If you're going to lose, obviously use one, but you want to kind of save all of your pieces as much as possible and try to maneuver your king around. So I was just like, okay, here we go. I started the checkmate process. I was going, but again, I have to make every move within 30 seconds. My endgame isn't that strong. And I was just like, God, I'm having such a hard time. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, boom. I put my last piece down, hit the clock, and I realized it's not a check. I put a piece down that is not a check, but it's what's called a hishi, where if he doesn't absorb that attack, or if he does absorb that attack, I can still win. So regardless, it's like, no matter what he does, if I get a turn, I win. That's all I needed. I needed one turn. And then there was like a 6 or 7 move checkmate. Not a 6 move checkmate. There was a 7 or 9 move checkmate that I had that I was like, okay, it wasn't a 9. It was 5 or 7 move checkmate that I know I had if I had one more turn. And I still had some pieces in my hand, but I didn't need any more pieces in order to checkmate him. I just needed to promote one piece that was going to put him in check, and it was covered, and then there was a checkmate process after it. I won't go into it, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I didn't even need to use any of the things in my hand. I could have used all the pieces in my hand and still won. I just needed one open spot. I hit the clock, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. It's your turn. And I looked at the clock, and he has 7 minutes left of his 10 minutes on the clock. I had been in Byoyomi, that like bonus time move, for the past like 6 or 7 turns. From the very beginning of the game, he is burning through all of his time. He's not burning any of his time. I'm burning my time because I'm thinking in the mid game. I'm figuring it out. And I actually got a really good position in the mid game. And I was like, dude, I am going to win this. Like, I did a really good job of getting my attack in. So I think, honestly, if my opponent took more time in the mid game to think about their attack, my rival would be way better than he is. But he just doesn't know where to use that time yet. So he just like hammers out moves. And then because his end game is so strong, he saves all of his time for the end game where he can actually use it. And it's really smart. I think it's a really good way to play, because in the end game, it's either I'm going to get checkmated, how do I save myself? Or he doesn't have a checkmate, how do I attack him? And that's where my rival uses his time, where I use my time in the mid game to try to set myself up for a good attack. And then at the end, if I have really good end game, I don't need 7 minutes. I need just 30 seconds to find the moves, which is what I'm working on it. So he had 7 minutes, over 7 minutes, and I was down to 30 seconds to move. So it was like, I was like, this is unfair. This is like just unfair, because he would look at the board for like 3 or 4 minutes. He was like calculating. boom. And then he would set a piece down, and then my time, 30 seconds, 25 seconds. And I'm like, oh, jeez. So I'm like trying to figure out, while he's thinking, I'm looking at, okay, what are the possible ways that he can checkmate me? Does he have a checkmate? Again, if he doesn't have a checkmate, I win. I win regardless if he tries to block my attack or if he doesn't block my attack. If I get one free hand, I win the game. And he's rated 5th class. I'm 8th class, right? 8th class. This would be a huge... I would have promoted that day if I had done this. So, spoilers. He's looking. Puts a piece down. My timer's going. 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 5, 4, 3. I'm like, boom, make a move. Then he slams out a move because he had already looked for the next 5 moves into this checkmate. The checkmate at the end of the game that he ended up winning was at least 15 moves. Was at least 15 move checkmate. But he can't read 15 moves. I can't read 15 moves yet. So what he would read is he would read like 7 moves. And then after 7 moves, it was like, it got really weird about how the pieces could go. But he knows like, okay, at least up until this point, I have this. So he would think for a long time, play a move. I would play one of the moves that he calculated, and then he doesn't need more time to calculate because he's already calculated 7 moves in. He'd slam out another piece. I would think, boom. He'd slam out another piece. I would think, boom. He'd slam out another piece. I would think, boom. And then he would sit again and use 3 or 4 more minutes of his 7 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, like, if you only had 30 seconds to find it, you wouldn't find these checkmates. I would have gotten my extra hand. I would have won this game. But that's... his strategy against me isn't to outplay me in the mid game. His strategy is to outplay me in the end game when I'm crunched on time. My end game might, like how I absorb an attack in the end game, isn't super great, and his end game is really good. So my problem was I used a lot of time in the mid game to set up a good attack and to not give myself any vulnerabilities, or when we were both destroying each other's castles. That was the bigger thing, was when he got to a spot in the mid game where I was like, I can't absorb that attack anymore. Like he wasn't making bad moves, but he was making moves where I was like, okay, that's not the best move on the board. I was actually really worried if he was going to make this move. He didn't make that move, which means I can actually advance my attack. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, he's going to start attacking into me, so I'm going to put the aggression on first. And I threw myself into him, and it was, if he tries to take mine, I'm going to attack. So again, we're getting in this battle, and he finds this like massive 15 move checkmate at the end of the game, and I was like, oh shit. So my teacher was looking, he came back and he looked at the end of the game, and he was like, okay, so show me like one of the set board. And I was looking around, I was like, I remember this, and we reset the board to a part towards the end game. It was, he read like 7 moves into it, and then he read the remaining like 7 moves or whatever, or the 7 or 8 moves of the checkmate that he had. And I remembered the last 7 moves, and I was like, here was my move that I did, and then he had a checkmate based on that move. And the teacher was like, no. If you go not this spot, if you go here, this spot here, he doesn't have a checkmate. And I was like, I can't read these like 7 or 8 move, these 7 or 9 move checkmates in 30 seconds. I just can't do it. I can read five moves is about the most I can do in 30 seconds, which is why I'm practicing endgame now. So I wasn't able to do it, and I lost. And then I played another guy that was 5th rank, and I wasn't so much tilted, but not 5th rank, 5th class. I wasn't so much tilted. I was just like, I can't beat 5th classes right now. I can't beat 5th classes. We played a game, and it was, again, really close. Same thing. I got to destroy his castle. He got to destroy my castle. I was throwing pieces at him in checkmates. I didn't get the checkmate. Then he turned the table on me, and he got the checkmate. But in both games against these 5th class Gokyu players, I was able to initiate the first offensive attack for checkmate. And I guarantee there were checkmates that I could have done. I just couldn't read them in time. So I played one wrong move. If you play one wrong move of a checkmate, you probably don't have a checkmate anymore. And that was my issue, is I just couldn't find the checkmates at the end. So went 50-50 again, crushed the opponents that were my level, taking pieces for free. The people that are ranked 3 leagues above me, they have to play their ass off to beat me, and I'm playing as hard as I can at the end game, but I'm losing those games. So my teacher told me, he was like, you're really close to promoting. He's like, you're very close to promoting. If you continue playing like this, you're going to promote next time or the time after at the worst. And there's one other person at the school that he is a good player. He's a good player. We've been kind of ranking up at the same time, but he promoted before me. He's right now a 7th class. Yeah, 7th class, and I'm in 8th class still. And the teacher was talking to me. He was like, I think it was like all the stars aligned. There were a couple really strong players. Like my rival didn't come the day that one of the other guys in my league promoted. And there were like no other 5th class at the school that day. So when he came in and played, I wasn't there either. I wasn't there at the school either that day. So it was like, wasn't me, wasn't all the other 5th classes. So he like wiped the floor with everyone. But I've played him about 10 times. And in those 10 times, I've lost once. So I've lost 1 in 10 times. And I remember the game. He played Migishi Gembisha, which is 5th rank or 4th rank rook, but on the right side, if you're not playing Furibisha, you're playing Ibisha. And I screwed up the way to absorb it. I'll show you really quick. Whatever. We're talking. This is what I'm doing. These are all going to be 30 minutes now. I'm sorry. I'm talking about it. I'm going to put my thoughts down. I'm going to vent about this shit. This is what we're doing. So in this game, the attacker, that's not right. The attacker's pieces look like this. How do you do this? Let me see if I can get this working, so you can at least see what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So their attack looks like this. I have the Yagura like this. They've got this. Where's their king? Like this. Yeah. Migimi no Gakoi. That's right. It looks kind of like this. Yeah, this is it. Sorry. I got it. Shazam. All right, so this is kind of what the attack looks like. So I've got my Ibisha. Again, every time this is how I play. If you play me in a tournament, if you come and play me in a tournament, you're going to see me doing this. My strategy on this is to bring this silver up over here. Usually it goes something like this, and then I come up here. If they try to attack down to here, I take here. If they take here, I can move up over here. They really can't do anything. I'm covered in all my angles. And then if they, try to, do this or something like that, I can push up here. If they take, now they're screwed. Like, they're screwed. Their king is a mess. I'm going to promote up over here. They've got all kinds of attacks that they can do, but I mean, there's nothing they can do about it. So, like, this is kind of how I do my attack. Anyway, this is how the attack should look. I should have had this. Oh, this is wrong. Hold on. This is how it should look. Sorry. This is how it should look. So the opponent, whatever. I should have this position. I had this position. Because I'm an idiot. And this position versus this position are very different for how you absorb this attack. And he was able to do all kinds of attacks down on this side. Everything is focused together. He's going to have all of his shit focused on this line. I've got a lot focused here, but if he can get this jump here, right? I was just an idiot. I was like, of course it was. I had played 10 games that day. I'd won all of the games I should have won. And at the end of the day, he was like, do you want to play one more game just for fun? And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's play a game for fun. And then I was tired. I didn't realize that this was going on. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Of course that this is what he was trying to do. I should have just not taken the piece. If I don't take it, if I just do this, now this doesn't attack anything. Doesn't attack anything at that point. So like I was just an idiot. I just had my attacks set up wrong. I mean, I was just dumb. Yeah, and in this, I can't. There's like nothing I can do. If he comes down here, basically you just walk off. Like it doesn't. You really can't do much against you. He really can't do much against you. And again, if that's the case, you just bring it up. Boom, boom. Take. If you're gonna try to block, you just take, and everything is, and you're still good. Like they've got some pieces on you. They've got a gold up on you, but you've got a promoted piece. Their king is right here. You're about to take this. I can drop a pawn here next. And that sucks. Like it's just, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot to do. Anyway. Sorry. I'm chatting too much about crap that doesn't matter. Anyway, so that was the one game I've lost against him in like the 10 games I have. So he promoted out of nowhere because like the stars aligned and there were no one at the school that can go against him. And I'm still 8th class Danberg, waiting to get up into the higher games. But anyway, that's how that's going. So my teacher and I talked, and this coming month, what we're working on is for November. I've got new stuff that we're going to be working on, and basically, it's interesting. He told me that don't worry about playing unless I'm at the school. So there are these things called hishi, and hishi are what I was talking about in like my peace drop tournament. I've been losing because I couldn't find a hishi, or I've been losing because I couldn't find a good endgame stuff. So my endgame, I'm starting to be able to see checkmates quicker, but I need to put these things into position where if they try to absorb it, if they don't try to absorb it, they're going to lose. So I give them the hand, and then they have to try to start attacking me. If they can't, I just win. This is called a hishi. And I actually don't know what the chess term is. Maybe it's forced checkmate or something like that. I honestly don't know, but in Japanese it's called hishi. And I showed him that I have one book about hishi here that I showed my teacher, and he was like, don't read this book. It's way too advanced. So I was like, boom, okay, boom. Put that away. He's like, I'll give you a book from my school. Just come in on this weekend when you play your regular tournament and remind me, and I'll give you a book. So I was like, gotcha. And then he was like, don't play games outside the school, basically. He's like, just don't worry about it. He's like, if you do, max 2 a day. But don't if you don't want to. Not even if you don't want to. He's like, I just don't recommend it. He's like, play at the school. Play at the school. When you're not at the school, prep for the school. The school plays, all of the people at the school play way better than the people online. So for my league, for example, today on 81 Dojo, the website I play on, I finally hit 5th class. So Hachi is here, I'm 5th class. So my rival at my school is a 5th class. I can beat him sometimes. In online, I'm a 5th class. I just hit it today. So that shows you like the disparity between how good my school is versus how good online is. And my teacher's like, kind of like, don't waste your time playing online. When you're not at the school, prepare for coming to the school next. But play as much as you can at school. So he's like, if you do play outside of the school, max 2 games a day. You should be really focusing on books. So Hishi, I have to do 10 a day. I have to memorize 10 patterns a day. So basically, I can close my eyes, I can look at the board, and I can say, okay, problem 1 of this book, there's these pieces here, these pieces here. I have these pieces, I'm holding these pieces. Here's how you do that Hishi. And it's basically like I have to memorize these puzzles. I have to memorize 10 a day. And then for checkmates, I have to do 15 a day, is what the teacher said. And these are not easy checkmates. I'll give you an idea of the checkmates that I'm working on right now. So I'll give you a quick, I'll just show you one. I'll just show you one of the checkmates I'm working on. So here's the first one that's opened up. This is one of the checkmates I have. Did I figure this one out already? No, I haven't figured this one out. I'm just trying this one out. Let me go back one. This checkmate. I do remember this checkmate. Okay, so this checkmate, I'll show you. So my pieces, I've got Ryu, King, I've got Ryu, I've got the Kaku, I've got the Keima. He's got Gin, King, Kin, Fufu, Kei, Kyo, Gyokusho. This one is 1, So there's a lot of different lines. So here's one of the checkmates I have. So first move is 3-4 Keima, which is going to attack this. Then if he moves here, it's if he moves here, that's the issue. Okay. So first is it's Sanyon Keima. And then if he takes with the gold, there's a lot of different lines. So Sanyon Keima Dokin. If he takes with the gold after I drop here, then my next move is just I go Saichi Gin. So I take this silver. And attack. So now I have to remember that this silver is in my hand. So Sanyon Ke Dokin. Saichi Gin. If I put the silver here, it attacks the king. So he can't take because it's also defending that square from here. And he can't take with the gold because this is threatening that way. So he has to move 1, 2. Then I just take this gold. This gold has been pulled down to here, so it can't take that anymore. When I jump the Keima, he pulled the gold down to here. I put the silver here. King moves over here. I take. If he puts a piece between here, remember, I have the silver attacking this square and the Hisha attacking this square. So I just take it with the Hisha and it's checkmate. It's very... you know what? Screw it. I won't do it on here. I'll do it in the table so you can see. So this is one of the checkmates I'm working on right now. Just for the hell of it. Just for fun. I'll show you one that I'm working on at the moment. Erase all this crap. So here's how I think about checkmates. Boom, 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 boom. I've got a new here. He's got gold, silver. I've got Kaku here. Oh, no. I've got Kaku here. And I've got Keima here. So yeah, I can do this in my head. So in my head, I know it's Sanyon Ke Dokin, Sanichi Gin, 1-2 Gyoku, 3-2 Ryu, Aegoma, Kin, Do, Ryu, Tsumi. Or the other line is Sanyon Ke 1-2 Gyoku, 2-4 K. I've got a Keima in my hands here. 2-4 K. If he takes with the pawn or takes with the gold, there's another 2 lines. If he takes with the gold, I just go 2-2 Keima Nari, Do Gyoku, 3-1 Gin, 1-2 Gyoku, and then same thing, take the gold, Aegoma, boom there. I'll show you in a minute. I'm just saying I can show, I know this in my head. I can do it in my head. Last one is, I take this, moves here, I drop this Keima here to attack both of these. If he takes with the gold, I just did that line. Dofu nara, dofu, 2-2 Ke nari, do gyoku, 1-3, 3-1 Gin de tsumi. This pawn is pulled out of the way, which opens this line here. So it's checkmate. So I'll show you this right now. Boom. Here's the checkmates that I have to be doing every day. Yes. Okay. Here. Boom. Here we go. Damn it! I didn't put the king in. Bam. Okay. Here we go. So here's what I was talking about. So we're gonna go Keima here. He has to, if he takes with the gold, then I take this silver, I drop it here, which is threatening here. He has to move here. I take with this. He drops a piece in this spot, and then I take with that. So I'll show you. Boom. If he takes with the gold, I drop the silver here. He can't move here because I'll take, right? So he has to move here. I take this. He only has a Keima to put between, and then I take with this, checkmate. That's the first checkmate series, 7-move checkmate. Here, I'll turn this on. 7-move checkmate. Bam. So restart. Other one. So we did, this one was Dokin. Okay, so that was that. The other line is here. If he moves now, boom. Next move. Oh, damn it. Sorry. Oh my god, guys. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot I have a Kama in my hand. I have to do this again really quick. Kama. Shit. 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 Sorry. I should do this in post, but we're going to do this. And this will be the end of the episode. I'll show you one of the checkmates I'm working on right now. This is a great checkmate. This is a really fun checkmate to do, actually. I'm really happy with how this checkmate looks. Pawn. Kaku. Okay. Ryu. Gyoku. My Gyoku's over here, and he's got in front of it. Oh. Okay. So what I'm trying to show here is, if every move you don't put him in check, if I do something like this, just checkmate, I lose. Right? So I have to put him in check every time, which is what these checkmate puzzles are all about. So first one, again, boom. If he takes this, boom, move here, boom. Tries to drop between, boom, dead. That's number one. That's the first line that we've got. Anyway, yeah, okay. There. Next line. Next line is this. If he doesn't take with the gold, if he just runs away here now, he's not in check anymore. So the next move is this. I have to drop this Kama here, which also, if he doesn't do anything about it, it's dead. So there's three things he can do. There's two things he can do about this. Take or take. Those are the only two things he can do about this. So let's first look at if he takes the gold. If he takes the gold, then I still have this in my hand. I just promote here. Promoting here means that he... Okay, so we'll just do this. So I'll take with the gold and take with the gold. I promote here. He has two things he can do. He can take with this or take with this. Let's do this. If he takes there, again, all we have to do in this position... Hold on a second. Huh? Oh! There, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. There it is. I was like, what the fuck? How does this not work? Okay, there it is. So, okay, yeah. In this position, take here. He moves here. I attack. I forgot that this is still threatening this spot. So in this position, if he takes with the gold, I'm still threatening this. I just take. It's the same basic principle, except my silver up here, I have these two threatening, so he can't drop anything between. I can still take it. This is defending that, so he can't take a checkmate. Let's back up. I drop this piece here. If he takes with the pawn, it's still, I go here. He can't take with this because he's now in check. So he has to take with this, and then I do this again. He can't take with this because I'm checked there, and this is actually checkmate because now he can't run here or here because this line is there. So that's how this is how I was able to think about it. So in this position, again, we've got Kama goes here. If he takes with that, we drop the silver here. He moves over. We take the Hisha. He drops a piece between. Then we take the Hisha. Done. If I go here, I go here. He moves to the side. I drop another Kama here. If he takes with this or this, I just take that piece. He drops something in between, and I promote the Hisha over, and he's dead. Same thing. I take here. He moves over here. I drop another piece here. If he takes with the pawn, which he should, not the gold. If he takes with the pawn, he's now opened up this path because, not yet. I have to jump the Kama forward, which threatens him. It's check in two positions, so he has to take with this. He can't take with the gold instead. If he takes with that, then I drop the silver here, and it's all checkmate. So this is what I'm able to read in my head. Again, he has to go here, here, must take with that, and then boom. So these are the kind of checkmates I need to do at least 15 a day. at least 15 a day. So it takes me a minute to find. So what my teacher said is, if I can't find the answer within 10 minutes, which is actually a thing that happens a lot. I'll stare at these checkmates for like 15 or 20 minutes and I can't find it. He's like, if I can't see the answer within 10 minutes, look it up. Look up the answer, turn the page and look at the answer to it. And then he's like, in your free time, if you do all your Hishi, if you do all your tactics, if you do all your checkmates, and then you've got time left over, just run tactics books all day. But this is what I'm going to be working on next month. I'll do another thing more in depth the next month. This one is the longest one we've done. It's 15 minutes now. So here we go. I can chat about this all day. I'm just trying to put this down and document my path and what I'm having issues with and what I'm trying to figure out. And it'll be fun to look back on this eventually and be like, oh yeah, this was like a really easy shit that I used to not be able to do. Anyway, I'm all thirsty now. It's almost 11:30. I've been talking for an hour. Thank you all very much for coming out again, watching my stuff, and I will see you all in the next one.